Okay, so I was just watching the live stream, Honkai Star Rail 1.3, because God forbid I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. They revealed the banners for the new patch. They do this every single time, but I wanted to talk about the banners this time specifically because there's something that I noticed that I feel like not a lot of people have really picked out yet that could be really beneficial for free-to-play players that are just looking to get like value out of what they pick up from the banner. This video is not scripted because I'm really fucking tired of script. Dude, I've been writing scripts for like 2 weeks straight. I'm so done. But let me show you what I'm talking about because these banners are actually pretty crazy. Specifically looking at the Xuan one, but first off, I'll just tell you guys what to expect. We're getting Daniel of the Hung variety. We're getting Xuan, and then we're also getting Lynx, who is like this cat person, but not like actually a cat or something. I don't actually know, but a part of the Landau family, if that says anything about their catness. So let's talk about what's good about these, right? Okay, so we have Yukong, Asta, and March on this banner. And towards the beginning of the game, I kind of said that March was like a super good character. And I still think that March is a good character. And as we see more self-sustaining units, March will become an even more valuable character. But I do think that now we see in MOC, not as many people are actually using her. They're preferring to use other preservation units, other healing units. So that's totally fine. So if you don't really care for March, then that pick in particular isn't great for you. I still think March is like a pretty good unit, and I think, like I said, as we get more additions to the roster, her single shield will start being enough to like sustain. Also, as we get more relics and stuff and get better stats, her stuff will be enough to sustain like a whole team for an MOC run or whatever. But the other two characters that are on banner for this, for eidolons, are like really crazy good. So Asta is one example of a character that without eidolons is actually pretty good already, but with eidolons is just an insanely powerful unit. I cannot stress this enough about Asta specifically. The amount of people that wrote her off at the beginning of the game because like speed didn't feel as good because her talents were like super low, and they didn't realize how speed worked at the beginning of the game, and her attack buff like wasn't as good at the beginning. She is a beast, and we knew that she was going to be a beast in beta, but like I kept saying we have to wait until endgame because with investment her scaling is crazy. The amount of speed that she gives you is crazy. I know with Kafka you can reach over 200 speed with Kafka's Light Cone and Asta, and it's a lot of attacks, dude. It's like 13 attacks per 7 cycles or something. It's crazy. But the other thing that's really good for Asta is specifically the amount of energy she's going to get back, and her being able to sustain her attack buff for longer. So on my free to play I only have E1, and this extra damage is cool. It's extra energy, which is super useful and helps you out a lot when you're trying to get the 2-turn ult cycle. After using ult at E2, her charge stacks don't get reduced in the next turn. So this is why 2-turn ult works, because it allows you to constantly build up your stacks here, and you're basically not losing stacks as consistently, and you're able to constantly keep the attack you're constantly able to keep the attack boost going higher at E2. Energy regen rate up when she has 2 or more charging stacks. Like I said, this gets really easy with 2-turn ult, and with 3-turn ult even, it's super viable. E6 is going to be another charging stack loss reduced by 1. So all in all, like Asta eidolons really help her keep her buff uptime and make her an insanely good unit, because like God, I need to find the scaling for this, chat. Okay, so like check this out. Level 8 talent. Every stack of charging Asta has, all allies attack increases by 12%. With 5 stacks, this is 60% attack buff. That is insane. And granted, you're not gonna have 5 stacks the entire time, but even like 40% attack buff, 48%, you'd have like 36% at 3 stacks, right? That attack buff is crazy. And then ult, you get that to level 8, 47 speed is an absurd amount of speed. That's almost 2 boots relics. That's literally almost 2 speed boots. So anyways, Asta's a crazy good unit. I feel like people have been kind of underselling Asta because of the Eidolon lock, but if you do happen to get Asta Eidolon, she does get really good. The last one is Yukong. I think Yukong is still a character that we still have like a lot of things to explore with, because Yukong is a very like weird situation where you have some characters where you can kind of speed tune to them, but then like teams get offset due to either like characters getting delayed, imprisoned, dominated. I wish that were me. Other things where they may have speed boosts written into their eidolons, into their passives. It does make it kind of hard to get Yukong to work consistently, but if you're doing something like 3-turn clears or like you're resetting the cycle every single time, you're doing 0 cycles, Yukong's also broken because the amount of stats she gives for absolutely fucking nothing is crazy. My opinion on Yukong is kind of skewed because I don't really care for her that much, but I can't deny that she actually is like a pretty useful character if you know how to play the game. For the average player, for the person who like doesn't really pay much attention to TC, speed tuning, and all that sorts of stuff, Yukong is actually pretty bad. But I think for people that really know what they're doing, that understand speed tuning, that understand exactly how her kit works and how you get the crit buffs and stuff, yeah, she's pretty good. She just requires you to read, which like I know a lot of people don't do. So She also does do some front-loaded imaginary damage and imaginary break, and her eidolons are pretty solid too. Speed of allies increases. This also makes the speed tuning a little bit more difficult. Extra energy is really good. More damage on her roaring bowstrings. So yeah, E6 is crazy because it basically means that you don't have to know what you're doing with Yukong, and just anytime you ult, you're getting the crit buff. She gets the crit buff, and then the next character that attacks gets the crit buff. And then, of course, Imbibitor, you know, this guy, Daniel, I think he's going to be pretty good. Personally, I think this guy's going to be, like, pretty cracked, but I can't say. The only concern that I have is I think that even despite him having those stacks that give you basically, like, skill point refunds almost, right? I think there's potential for him to be really good, but until we have a support that, like, gives you, like, skill points or something, I do think his like, maximum potential can't really be entirely realized, but I could be wrong. We'll just have to get our hands on him and play him. I do think that'll be a top damage dealer, and the fact is damage dealer for imaginary is super good. But what I actually wanted to talk about, like, more than anything else, or like what I was specifically concerned about, actually has to do with Fu Xuan's banner. Fu Xuan is going to be pretty good, I think. She has Dia's kit, but like it's actually good, and she also provides the allies, or your allies, with other buffs. Like I think it was a crit buff as well, and max HP, which means max HP scaling characters also get more value out of this. A 5-star Dia, I know, insane. I can't believe they made Dia a 5-star and Honkai. If you're pulling for Fu Xuan anyways, like, I don't really care, but I do want to say that I think you could justifiably get away with getting Lynx and leaving Fu Xuan for a later pickup, if you're just looking for, like, a quantum second slot character to run with Silver Wolf. I was talking about this with chat earlier. The thing is, with Lynx coming out, Lynx, just in case you don't know, is an abundance character that has a team heal on ult that also has a cleanse for every single character. They all cleanse 1 debuff, which is insane. And then they have basically, like, the equivalent of, like, Natasha's heal over time, where you can, like, skill the friendly. And then I also believe one of their traces makes it so their ult, like, heals the entire team over time. Okay, I may have been wrong. I might be talent, but either way, she has a lot of healing that goes out to, like, your entire team, which is nice for a 4-star healer. We have Natasha already, who can heal your team with her ultimate, but I'm hoping that Lynx is, like, another character that can give Natasha a run for her money, because being able to cleanse your entire team at once is really sick, and the heal over time on the whole team seems really good too. You can also cleanse whenever you need it, not just on her turn, which is a really solid thing. So I think that one of the biggest problems that Silverwolf had is that we only had quantum DPS and Silverwolf as the quantum picks in the game before patch 1.3. But now that we're going into patch 1.3, we have a bunch of characters that can now be played with Silverwolf in a second quantum character. So you can now play someone like Yanqing. You can play Pela with Yanqing. You can now play Silverwolf with Pela Yanqing. And you can now play Lynx with Silverwolf, Pela, Yanqing, or you can play Fu Xuan. And that specifically will allow you to play Silverwolf in those teams without a third element, or without a 50-50, but having 3 of the same element and just 1 Silverwolf, which I think is really huge. Basically, it's an all-around buff to Silverwolf, and therefore, the existence of Fu Xuan and the existence of Lynx is an overall buff every single character in the game that works with Silverwolf, which is like most of them. So I'm really excited for these 2 characters in particular. But what I wanted to mention is that though Fu Xuan is going to probably be a pretty solid character, they haven't disappointed us yet, unless you count Jingun, but I don't think he was really a disappointment personally. I've just seen some people talking about it. But I think that Fu Xuan will be good. But if Lynx is also a really solid character and you're just looking for that other quantum to put on that team and potentially run mono quantum in the future, you can probably just try to pick up Lynx on this banner, especially if you roll for Dunhung and then you're like at 0 pity. If you want to just try to go for a Lynx while you're going, and if you wouldn't mind getting Fu Xuan, you can totally get away with that. Or you could get Fu Xuan 20 pulls in, and honestly, I'd call that a win too, because that's 20 pulls for a 5-star. But you know, that's just my opinion on it. Other than that, you guys know Hook is like a pretty good 5-star. Or 5-star. Other than that, you guys know Hook is a pretty good 4-star. She does pretty solid damage as a fire unit, and you can, you know, her eidolons are cool too. I think Pela's eidolons aren't super good. Honestly, I don't think they're super necessary. This one's pretty good just because Pela gets some free energy back off of it. Skill to remove buffs increases speed, which is all right, I guess. Skill use 100% base chance to reduce enemies target ice res. So this could be really good when we get that set up, potentially with like Silverwolf and Lynx and Fu Xuan, and then like Pela, as well as either like Jinglu or whoever else we end up playing, Yanqing maybe. And then like this one is all right. Like, I don't know, man. I honestly don't feel like E6 is that good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just full of shit. And real quick, just to talk about Hook, enhanced skill does more damage, extends duration of burns, pretty good. Talents trigger, there's 100% base chance to burn. Yeah, I mean, it's basically just straight up damage increases for Hook. So, you know, if you're a Hook player, great banner for you. But overall, the main thing I wanted you to take away from this video, aside from the fact that Fu Xuan is like peak design and look how pretty she is that you don't actually like need Fu Xuan for a quantum preservation if you happen to get Lynx, in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to be a one shoe fits fits all or one size fits all thing where like Lynx can just be used for all content or Fushun can just be used for all content. Having them both would be nice. But if you were just worried about getting that second quantum slot that's not a DPS, so that way you can use Silverwolf and them with like any other element, then you could also just hopefully get Lynx and not have to worry about going all in for the 5-star if you're saving for someone else like Jinglu or Topaz. So that's something really important to think about when you're pulling. And yeah, overall, I think these banners are like pretty all right. We don't have a lot of characters in here in the game to like really talk about like shit banners, but I think Daniel will be good. I think Fushun's gonna be good. I think Lynx is going to be good enough to where you might not need Fushun, and that's my opinion on the whole thing. So Agent Raph in chat just pointed out 5-star hunt character Topaz has been teased. So if you haven't built Hook as a fire DPS, but you're willing to wait another patch, it's also something to consider. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and tell me your favorite T. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. We're almost 200K. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.